your hard work to this special day. We have our commencement speech going to be given by Billy McCafferty. Thank you. I'm Billy McCafferty. I've contributed a cell to all of this, and that's about it. Thank you all very much for coming. I have a bit of a commencement speech, I guess you could say, after I turn down my house music. All right, about 20 years ago, Jennifer and I flew into El Salvador on our honeymoon. This was our third of 3 countries that we were going to, and we had a 24-hour layover in El Salvador. We were super excited and super naive, showing up to El Salvador just between civil wars, looking forward to a great stay at a bed and breakfast. We had somebody that we knew would be waiting for us outside to pick us up and take us to our honeymoon resort. As soon as we landed and got to the exit to get out of the airport, we were stopped by armed guards with M16s asking us for our donation to the El Salvadorian tax donation. As we didn't have any cash on us at the time, we pleaded in the broken Spanish that I had in any means possible to get cash. After a bit of negotiating, one of the armed men escorted me out to an ATM where I quickly typed in I wanted 900 colones, thinking that it was equivalent to Costa Rican money. Apparently the colones in El Salvador are worth a lot more than the colones in Costa Rica. So I quickly took all of the money out of our checking account, watching all of the cash come down through the ATM. And I walked back in, and we tried to hand it to the officers who were going to escort us out, and they said, no, we want US dollars. So they pointed me to the exchange counter. I had no idea what I was doing, how much I was exchanging it for, but I walked up, gave him this stack of cash, and he handed me back $900, and I still to this day have no idea how much he took from me. All this time, I was absolutely terrified of what was going to happen because of the uncertainty that I was feeling. I had planned this to a T, down to the step, knowing what was going to happen, and yet I was faced with absolute uncertainty of how we were going to get out of this. So luckily, they did take our cash. They let us go. We went out to find our Airbnb car, or whatever Airbnb was 20 years ago. No car to be found, just cages of chickens and people getting onto buses with no sign of our Airbnb or whatever it was to pick us up. So after about 20 minutes of us panicking and looking for a car, I just start yelling, "Does anybody speak English?" Which is probably not the smartest thing to do in El Salvador 20 years ago. But luckily this kind gentleman came up and he said, "I speak English," or however he said it. Took me over, made some phone calls, and we finally got into a car. But the point of this is that what made it so terrifying was this uncertainty that we were feeling, not knowing what the event was going to look like 5 minutes from where we were, 10 minutes from after that. The next time that I felt uncertainty and fear of that type was 2 nights ago, when I went to Chipotle to try and order a burrito. I saw all these people standing around out front. There was a person standing outside the door taking orders. There were a few people in line. I was absolutely panic-stricken, not knowing how to order a Chipotle burrito. Luckily, I asked a few dear people that gave me guidance on how to go in, but it was that feeling of uncertainty in a place that I've been to 100 times that it was just changed enough to make it uncertain and unfamiliar to me that made my stomach churn. I took a deep breath, walked in, and got a terrific burrito. So these are certainly uncertain times that we're in. Uncertainty causing anxiety, uncertainty causing fear, and uncertainty that's leading to children or I should say young adults, not being able to experience the graduations that they were intending, and the uncertainty of wondering if they're going to be making it physically to college this fall. But it is these times of uncertainty that gives us these opportunities for personal growth. I'd like to tell a story about dealing with uncertainty on a speech that was given by Jia Jiang on a TED Talk. Jia Jiang, when he was in first grade, the teacher had a great idea of having everybody give each other compliments and gifts. So everybody stood at the front of the classroom, and one by one, a student would raise their hand, offer a compliment to another student, and that student would then be able to go over and pick up a gift. Jia Jiang had about 20 kids in his class, and one by one, all the other students were given compliments to other students until he was the only student left up there, with no student having given him a compliment. Awkwardly enough, the teacher then gives him a compliment. He grabs his gift and sits down red-faced. He was absolutely ashamed of being the last person, being rejected, of feeling that uncertainty. And so as he became an adult, he was absolutely steadfast on trying to get on over that fear of uncertainty. And so what he did was taught himself rejection therapy. For 100 days straight, he came up with the most ridiculous things to try to be rejected in any way possible, including borrowing $100 from a stranger, asking for a burger refill, giving a weather forecast on live TV, asking random people to give him a compliment, and asking to get his hair trimmed at PetSmart. What amazed him more than anything was not the rejections which he was expecting, but the yeses that he got from so many of these things that were absolutely ridiculous. But through these rejections that he put himself through, he got over his fear of that uncertainty, got over his fear of the rejection, to push ahead and to become a better and bigger person than he was. So I look to you graduates to look at this as an opportunity of growth of uncertainty, to see how you can build upon this unique opportunity to come out of it bigger, better, and stronger. So what is certain? There are a few things I want to talk about that we do have certainty of. One of them, first and foremost, family. And family just doesn't mean blood. It is the neighbors that we love and cherish, who have come with us today. It is the blood relatives and the in-laws that have come with them, whether we like them or not. It's the dear friends that we can call at 3 o'clock in the morning when we're sobbing. It's the dear friends that'll bring us a hot meal when they know that we need company, or give us an air hug these days. The next certainty is our spiritual journey. I want to encourage you graduates to be steadfast in your spiritual journey, whether that's Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Muslimism, becoming one of the pygmy religions in the rainforests. It doesn't matter. But what is important is that you pick your spiritual journey and put yourself fully behind it. Your spiritual journey will get you through some of the hardest times in your life and will give you some of the most pure and happy moments of joy that you will ever feel. And finally, for out of the certainty and creating certainty in life, you will certainly have happiness if you live your life meaningful. And by meaningful, I mean aligned work with your values. Make the journey itself meaningful. I might not ever learn to play a Bach like Bach did on piano, but if I can get meaning out of the journey of learning, then that is joy that I'm bringing into my life. Then finally, for living meaningfully, stay full of wonderment. Be surprised. Be willing to be vulnerable, to cry when you see a waterfall that you've never seen, to cry when your baby comes, and to cry when you have an experience that has truly caught you off guard. Remain full of wonder. And if you truly do figure out how to deal with uncertainty, teach me. Will the DSA class of 2020 please rise? When I call your name, please come to the podium to receive your diploma. And for all, please hold your applause until the last name is called. Zoe McCafferty!
Yeah, open it up for pictures. You should.
We want to mention that Zoe is graduating from Denver School of the Arts, National Honor Society, with a seal of biliteracy in DSA honors. Listen to the commencement speech. I'm going to give the mic back to the dad. Zoe. It has been such a joy to have you as our child. You are so filled with creativity and love and passion. I cannot wait to see the adventures that you take in life. Congratulations, honey, and I wish you the best of luck. Your mom and I are so proud.